there's a power for good and bad, right? Like there's a certain amount of ethics and morals involved, because it's also very easy to steer people down what I call the dark side.
Yes, definitely. And this is the huge theme within like moving into that whole behavioural design piece. And so when you think about like humans and influencing human behaviour, and it feels like a really, and understandably so, it feels like a bit of a sticky area to even talk about. And I remember when I told a friend of mine when I decided to do my master's degree in consumer psychology, because I was looking for like an applied area in psychology that tallied up really nicely with kind of what I was doing in the world of design. And I'd already seen earlier in my studies, working on client work, that actually if I designed a magazine page ad, for example, I did a lot of those in like a particular year that I was learning about cognitive psychology on my undergraduate degree. Because I was running the two things side by side, I could already start applying it into my work. And I was already seeing that actually, if I was designing a page ad in a certain way, certain ones were getting much more traction, they were more memorable for the audiences, because certain trade publications would give, you wouldn't even ask for it, but you'd get certain insights from it, as part of the advertising team would run certain studies. So that was quite useful to even get that feedback straight away. So when I said, I'm going to go and do consumer psychology, one of my friends, I always remember, she said, does that mean that you're going to give like people therapy if they shop too much? Which, I mean, I can understand why you would land to that when you say consumer psychology. But I also had a few other people saying, oh, that's really interesting. And, oh, that's a little bit, that's a bit of the dark art. And there has been that definitely was, that like some areas of psychology are definitely much more widely accepted than others. And in the UK, consumer psychology hasn't really been as widely accepted, because psychology in the UK as a discipline still sits kind of in that, not exclusively, but a lot of it is in like the therapeutic space. So you have clinical psychologists, you have educational psychologists who are working, with children in schools who needs the additional support of somebody who's highly trained in psychology. You have lots of different areas, but consumer is huge in America, but not so much in the UK. And I think there's always that worry that knowing about what influences human behaviour is a terrible thing. But ultimately, anybody working in any business is trying to influence human behaviour in some way. And the one thing that psychology, if you've got an actual formal training in psychology, the one thing you're taught from day dot is about ethics. And it's about, using this for good. And what we've seen with the positive side of using applied behavioural science and behavioural design is that you can help people make decisions that they already want to make for themselves. But they're already motivated to do a particular thing, but it's like they just haven't done it. And actually knowing about psychology can make it a lot easier for them to make the right decision for them. And there's also a really big thing at the minute, and this is something that's been going on for a good few years now, which is talking about sludge processes in behavioural design. So you've got anybody that's encountered behavioural science in the last 10, 15 years probably might have heard the term nudging.